Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Six Nations. This one, England versus Scotland. And we have just seen a very intriguing contest between the Irish and the Welsh. Relatively close and a lot closer than some anticipated. And now we've got this Kolkata Cup matchup. It's going to be a big one. And it's going to be an important game for both of these sides in the Six Nations. Looking through at the way that the table does currently sit. Now, I will mention there has been an update since this, and that is that Ireland are now sitting on the 14 points rather than the 10. But England, they still have a chance going on to win this Six Nations comp. Same could be said about the Scottish, although more than likely they would need that bonus point here just to push them in the right direction. But overall, everyone is chasing the Irish, so we have to wait and see how it ends up going. But in the starting lineup, first of all, for the home side, England, it will be Alice Genge, Luke Cowan-Dickie and Will Stewart as the front row, Maro Itoje and Ollie Chisholm in the locking duo with Tom Curry, Ben Earl and Tom Willis slotting in. As the number 8 in terms of the backline, it is Alex Mitchell alongside Finn Smith, who is playing in the fly half role, Henry Slade and Ollie Lawrence in the midfield with Ollie Slade-Home, Tommy Freeman and Marcus Smith as the number 15. Then for the Scottish lineup, Piers Scorman slotting in as the number 1, Dave Cherry 2 and Xander Fagerson as the number 3, Johnny Gray at 4, and then number 5 they have got Grant Gilchrist. So those two are going to have their hands full throughout this match with Chisholm and Itoje, but if they can manage to get some sort of dominance going when it comes to those lineouts, could be a relatively successful day at the office for the Scottish. In the loose ball trio, it is Jamie Ritchie, Rory Darge and Jack Dempsey as the number 8. Ben White and Finn Russell will be the 9-10 combo with Tom Jordan in the midfield alongside Hugh Jones. Duan Fundermerva, he needs a massive game here. Kyle Rowe at 14 and Blair Kinghorn to close out the side as well. But in the chat we have got there, hopefully this is a turning point for Wales and they can give both Scotland and England a hard time, says Zero Connection. And also reckon it will be a draw, says Powerbite, and Ireland scraped to win against Wales, says John. And we have got there, we beat Wales in a tight contest, we did not scrape a win. How many times have the ABs managed to pull off a win from the jaws of defeat in the last 5 minutes? There's too much ill will against us, says Kerno Vic. And Wales are rubbish. Ireland struggled to beat rubbish. Ireland are now rubbish too. Although I feel like calling Wales rubbish from that performance that they put on is pretty harsh overall. Like, they did extremely well. They are just showing the last 5 results of the Kolkata Cup, and we have seen 4 in a row going the way of the Scottish. No other side has really been able to do that to this English team in the last little while anyway. 71% chance, though, that England will be able to win it, so still the odds are against the Scots. I'm sure that will motivate them even further. Off the bench for these two sides, Elliot Daly, the experience for England, of course, scoring that last-minute try up against the French to secure the victory for England in the last round, with also Chandler Cunningham himself, George Martin, and Finn Baxter, all guys to watch out for, as well as Jamie George. At the end of the day, that man loves a rolling maul, and he can get one moving in a very handy fashion for the Scottish. They've got Ewan Ashby, Rory Sutherland, and also Matt Fagerson. 6-2 split here for the Scottish for this contest, and then Dobie and McDowell as their back replacements too. But this is the last round of the Six Nations in terms of what happened for round 2. Italy winning over the Welsh by 7. England with that narrow victory over the French, but winning in the final moments. And then Ireland beating Scotland. Scotland in that game, they were lackluster. They didn't really find their next gear. So this game, they definitely have to find it early, or else the English, they might get their hands on that Kolkata Cup. We have got there, hey Hamish, here we go, says Reno, and South Africans would kill me for this. But England really need to win this one, says Reno. And Fleishin, bro, if you're reading this, you were Giants today, Wales are back. And also, Hamish, are you disappointed in Wales for how that finished last match? Says Xander. I mean, I don't think you can really be too disappointed in the Welsh. They came out in a game that a lot of people didn't even back them to be within 20 in, and really pushed the Irish throughout, I would argue, the full 80 minutes. Couple late chances, not quite going their way. Could have been a different result, but at the same time, the Irish, they knew how to win, and they had to dig deep, almost deeper than they have throughout any other game of their Six Nations. And yes, they had that close game up against the English, but something about this one just felt like it was that little bit more challenging. We have got their brilliant comment. That's a true rugby supporter. Respect to you, fella. Wales were grand. So you just want to see England lose. This is sad, so sad, says Marmite in there to a Neville. But both of these sides making their way out onto Twickenham. I know it's now Allianz, but we're still calling it Twickenham, just like a lot of other people. But they've just said that the Kolkata Cup has never been won by Scotland 5 times in a row. So they could make history here if they are able to get the job done. Finn Russell at the helm in that number 10 jersey. Hamish, an upset is in the air, says Kevin. So I assume you're saying the upset is Scotland winning? But that's the thing. Is it really an upset if they've won the last 4 head-to-heads up against this English side? Or is it consistency? Yes, they might be in a slightly different position than they were the last time that they played. But, you know, for me, this game honestly is 50-50. I don't support England in anything. Says Neville there. We are just about to have the national anthems and then we will be underway for this contest. But of course, do let me know your score predictions in the comments down below, ladies and gents. And also, in terms of your first try scorer. Flower of Scotland is now being sung at the ground. It's just going to be one of those matches that just brings that big match feel to it. Yeah, just looking at the lineups once again, just in terms of a few of the interesting options that both of these sides have gone with for the English. They've gone pretty similar to what they have been using throughout their other matches. Maru Itoje and Ollie Chisholm. I mentioned about how important that kind of locking duo will be for both of these teams. Luke Cowan-Dickie there at number 2. A lot of Scottish supporters making the trip by the looks of it for their lineup. They have gone with a couple switches as well. But overall, it has that big match feel. I hope it doesn't disappoint. There is a chance that this one is extremely competitive. Oh yeah, I've got there, can't hear my anthem. Can you sing it for me? Flower of Scotland, says Julia. I probably would make you wish you would never hear your anthem again if I was to try and sing it. It's one of the things that, of course, I'm very, very poor at. I can't stand that Owen Farrell. He made me turn my back at the English rugby team. Their cricket I still enjoy, says Xander. And Scotland winning will be no upset. Score 25-23 in England's favour, says Anton Smith. And yesing up, says John. And we have got there, if this ends in a draw, correct in saying it's 2-horse between France and Ireland. Yep, correct. So both of these sides really do need this win under the belt. O'Flower of Scotland, says Xander there. I hope the Scottish players return to Scotland after the game and don't try and claim asylum in England. And England 1-3 on Scotland 5-2, says Kevin there too. So interesting, isn't it, that England are 1-3, Scotland 5-2, and the win predictor has England at about 73% chance of winning this one. Maybe it is slightly biased to the home side in this situation, or the context outside of the Kolkata Cup. The national anthems have been sung. We are now ready to go in this matchup, England versus Scotland, the second match of round 3 in the Six Nations. Now we are going to be covering the third contest, that is going to be France versus Italy, and that does take place tomorrow. And listen to you from Clarence, says Michael, too many Scottish in England already. We don't need any more brave hearts. And 73 to England, well, says Xander. Yeah, I was very surprised when I saw that number. But what they just say? Ted Hill, was it? From the 23. Added into the side. They are just showing that starting lineup for the Scottish. Hugh Jones at 13. He'll be one to keep an eye out for. More draws in this confrontation than any other matchup, says Akaris. And that is why we've seen so many people already back in the draw. I see England winning based on their last showing against France, says Kernovec. Finn Russell at 10. Great to see him back. Darcy Graham, he is of course not back from taking that nasty collision with Finn Russell last week. But yeah, there's Ted Hill at number 19 coming off the bench for the English. So that is why Hill is there. No, George Martin. And that was in for Martin, says Kernovec. And we have got there Scoot-ish, Hamish, not Scottish. Says Mr. Marmite in 19 draws. Says Akaris, the referee in charge of this one will be Pierre Brosset. See how it goes. Finn Russell thinks it's Wednesday. Says Mr. Marmite. Is that a good or a bad thing? Because I do love a Wednesday. Now, It's going to be England with this kickoff at Twickenham. We're still not calling it Allianz, no matter how much they try and change it. But it's a great afternoon in England for a game of rugby. And both of these sides, they know the importance of this match. Ireland are on 14 points, England on 6, 5 points for the Scottish currently. It's a bad thing, Hamish. What's wrong with the Wednesday? Wednesdays are great. They probably had training on Wednesday. He'll be fired up, rearing to go. And I don't think we've ever seen Finn Russell reach that stage of looking like he's flustered. He just kind of chills. A very bad thing, says Mr. Marmite. And England by 8, going to be a low score, says Craig, but it is kicked off by England. The crowd are already electric, and Jack Dempsey almost able to break the line off the very first carry of the match. I have had pizza now. My life is fulfilled, and I can die a happy boy, says Xander. I think the bigger question is, what flavour of pizza did you go with? Well, what toppings, I should say. Flavour sounds like you're changing the whole pizza itself. Amato Atoje hanging on to this ball for England around the halfway line after Scotland went for the kick in behind. Didn't really work out for them. Now Marcus Smith, he will try the chip of his own, and it's going to roll into touch. Good territory gain. And we have got there Twickenham. Hamish, well done. Sick of this Allianz nonsense, says Power by. And Wednesday it's fine, but not knowing what day it is. Needs an HIA, says Mr. Marmite. And I had a pepperoni. What's your favourite topping? Not pepperoni, to be honest. I'm more of a chicken kind of bloke. Where are our eggs, says Powerbike. Didn't have time to cook them. Had time just to schedule the 7 streams, though. But, yeah, once again, no time in between streams. I think all of the matches have run long today. That's going to be, one that's gone over the top. Closing the gap against England, though, so it will be a free kick to Scotland. Yeah, that URC match went for about 2 hours, 5 minutes. Match between Wales and Ireland was just over that 2-hour mark, too. Now, Finn Russell, he will kick this one towards the touchline. No try, really. You're on vacation, says Dennis Wilson. It's more so the fact that we're doing 26 hours of commentary throughout the couple days of the weekend. So wearing a suit and tie for that whole time would be a bit much, I would say. Plus, we just haven't had any time between the streams. We've pretty much been jumping stream to stream, 5th Union one in a row. So I feel like we can be slightly let off the hook just for this one, But now it's going to be a line-out chance here for the English. Luke Cowan-Dickey. Chicken on pizza, that's crazy. It's just not, though. It's just good, I'm not like how some people have the cranberry... Is it cranberry sauce with the chicken on the pizza? That's not my kind. Just chicken and cheese makes me have a airfare, says Dennis. And barbecue chicken and pineapple is so good, says Xander. It's going to be kicked high now for the English to chase. Well claimed at the back by Kyle Rowe. That's a poor tackle from Alex Mitchell. There's already been quite a few missed from England in this contest. And, of course, going with that classic rush defence here. Been told to use it again. Ben White will kick it up high. Pepperoni is a proper pizza, says Mr. Marmite. That's going to be nicely taken at the back by Finn Smith. Passes on the outside to Slate Home. Goes straight to Blair Kinghorn. Now counter-attack. Another missed tackle from England. Thought about going for the offload. Alice Gench lurking next to that breakdown. He thought about jumping in for the turnover attempt, but decides against it. Finn Russell goes back across now to Hugh Jones. Skip pass out to Rowe. Of course, in there, due to the Darcy Graham injury, Allianz is a bad name. It's Twickenham in the minds. The real rugby folk imagine calling Loftus Versfeld name or Eden Park, says Gurno Wick. And yeah, there's already a few Allianz stadiums around. Like there's one in Australia. Now nice attack and run down the wing. Ball beautifully passed back in, and Scotland will get the first try of the contest. That was just pure passing at its best. And honestly, England had a whole heap of numbers there, but apparently no one was close enough to actually get the ball. And Scotland try says here, right, we're going to see it now. The rush defence from England. Nice little shuffle through. Got the offload away, and then from there just running down the wing. Great ball on the inside from Tom Jordan. England had about 4 or 5 guys back there trying to block something, but Duan Fundamerva creating the first line break, then the quick hands from Kinghorn. And then get it to Jordan, who had the bullet pass of a lifetime, going to White on the inside. And we have got there, come on, Scotland, says Power Bite. What your type of bacon, or what you think of bacon feta and avo topping combo? I honestly am really basic, as you guys know. Like, I'm just a plain Jane type of, chicken and cheese. Of that 3, I'd just have bacon, Haven't had avocado on a pizza as of yet. But like they've said, it has been a dream start here. The conversion has missed, so that is one part of the dream that has become a bit of a nightmare. But it's still early on. Calm down, early days. Says Kernovic, exactly right. Only a few minutes into this contest. 5-0 now for the Scottish. And a good take above his head from Gray. Hello, Hamish. Greetings from Durban, says Stretch Fletcher. It's way too easy. Made the English look like schoolboys, says here. Yeah, there were just a lot of gaps there, weren't there? But I wasn't sure how they all were created. It was just a couple big old gaps. Yep, she's a girl, says Mr. Marmite. And now, wrestle towards the touchline, and the penalty is called. They did have to release him, but they didn't do the same. Hamish should be like a Hamish or Hamish type person. I don't mind a bit of ham on a pizza. McGregor Townsend won't be too happy about the fact that they did miss that first kick, but he will be happy with that first try. Please stop telling us who scores and who misses, please, kids. Everyone, thanks for us listeners here, says Gurnowick, and hopefully Scotland have a bit between their teeth for this game. Kicked into touch by England, turning down the chance at a 3 early. About 12 metres out from the line now. And England looking to fire straight back. I mentioned about Scotland's discipline last week up against the Irish. It was poor. What is Pierre Schoeman doing? He's just closed the gap. Stay on the mark is the call from Pierre Brousset. I like steak on my pizza, says Mr. Marmite. Now thrown into Maru Itoje, and the rolling ball commences for England, the home side. Getting willed on by their crowd who are now singing. Scotland release. The ball is still there available for them. Tommy Freeman plays halfback, goes across to Alice Genge. Like a little bit of a fumble there on the ground, but I believe it did go backwards from the English, who were sitting 5 metres out from the line. Alex Mitchell goes back across now to Finn Smith. Didn't see too much of a gap in front of him, but the ball is still there. Marcus Smith having to join that breakdown. Tack and run from Ben Earl. Playing in the 7 jersey for this match rather than that number 8 where we did see him time and time again last year. Alex Mitchell. Going off, I believe that was Earl again with another carry. And now the advantage is in favour of the English. Dom Curry close to the try line, going to be dragged down just 2 metres short. Now back across. Alice Genge tries the pick and go again. Luke Cowan-Dickie, another advantage. That's close, but he's turned onto his back. A bit of communication coming at the back of the ruck at the moment, deciding who's going to go for it. Ben Earl's going to try, but he is again dragged down by Scotland, still playing under penalty advantage here, the English. Alice Genge's close. Referee nonchalantly looking at it. Must feel like it is still short of the line. Van der Merwe's going to score a hat-trick in this match, says Leon. Now Mitchell goes off to Tommy Freeman, who gets the ball down. Or does he? He might just have a look at this one to make sure that there is a clear grounding. Freeman making sure he's the last guy to get up. I saw an interview with Clive Woodward on an obscure channel for this month. He said he wanted to make changes to the RFU after winning the World Cup, and the board basically laughed at him. Shady stuff, says here. And ham and bacon as well as curries. What a meal, says Kevin. And steak sauce sounds tougher, says Dennis. I thought that's held up, says Calmac. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, there's no grounding from that angle anyway. See another replay here. That didn't look like it ever touched the ground. Unless it was later on. But the TMO must have found a grounding. That's going to make the score now 7 points to 0. But yeah, a little bit inconclusive about that one. Going to be a game, says John. Missed the start. Scotland got the first try. Might there be a surprise again? Right. He wants the ref to have another look, which is the right call because I don't think that one actually got down. This is, of course, going to bring another stoppage. No. So now the TMO said he wanted to look at it. Referee kind of said, oh, yeah. And then he said, never mind, I've decided I don't want to. It's a try. And now it's going to be the penalty to England as well here. They've got all the momentum, and England are not allowed to win any more World Cups because it makes people angry. Did the TMO favour England again, says Powerbite? I mean, in that case, I did think that they would at least check to make sure it was down, but just not the case. Well, they've said a bit of a cheap and easy exit for the English. And weird, says John. But now line out throw for Luke Cowan-Dickey. Nicely claimed by Ollie Chisholm. Goes across there to Tom Willis. Tackled on the halfway line. Scotland get themselves the penalty. That's what the TMO is there for, says John. I remember when Damien Dialende slapped Ben White in the face on screen and the French producers buried the footage, says Powerbite. And well done, England, says Mr. Marmite. But now, looks like Scotland have one mindset here, and that is to go for the corner rather than taking on the three. Come on, Scotland, says Thabiso there. And congrats. Oh, everybody say congratulations, England, says Mr. Marmite. This damn ref missed his optometrist appointment. Says Neville, Dave Cherry. He's going to have the line-out throw for this one. So far, we've seen 120 metres made from Scotland's 11 carries. England have had 19. They've made 52 throughout the early stages of this matchup. We have got there the smiling face from John. And I, again, what have I missed? Already we've seen 2 tries. Well, 1.5 tries. First try of the match scored by Scotland, fired back with one from the English, and now Scotland looking for another. Kyle Rowe, 5 metres out from the try line. Ben White pops it up to Jamie Ritchie. Again, the Scottish are on hot attack. Ben White goes across to Jack Dempsey. Now off to the left again, Dave Cherry. Trying to get that counter ruck going for them, and it doesn't quite work out. Hugh Jones driven backwards. A few more metres. You have to love watching the Six Nations lost of Northern versus South coming up next, says Reino. Back across to the right, Dave Cherry. They're losing quite a bit of ground here at the moment. And I love a Scotland win over England, says Thabiso. Now offloaded back. Ben White, nice stepping on. In fact, it's Kinghorn who throws it straight into Rowe's head. And they're not happy about it. Kyle Rowe, I don't think he was ready for it, seeing as he was right on that touchline. Didn't have a lot of space to even be able to work with. That one does go into touch. England now with the line out. We're already 12 minutes into this fixture. Both sides have scored once. There's already been controversy. It is definitely a Scotland versus England match. Get rid of Windminster or Minster, and we'll have England, but true, says John. And England invented the bacon and banana pizza, but South Africa took it off the menu, says RIP. And if England win this one, the chances are good, right? Yep, correct. So currently the way that the table sits, we will show what it was at the start of the round. Now, at the moment, Ireland are on 14 points. So they are really creating a gap between them and any other side. Of course, France, if they are able to get themselves to win over Italy, they will close that gap a little bit, but they will still need to beat the Irish at the Aviva to be able to really have a good shot of making their way forward. It's going to be nicely taken by Maro Atoje. And hi all, says Karma Beach, welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. And you can tell Blair Kinghorn isn't from the Southern Hemisphere. Says Zero Connection. And hi Karma Beach. Says Zero there too. Bit of a rolling maul shaping up here for the English. They have been told to use it once. And it looks like this one's gone down. They can't get this ball out. And Scotland get themselves a scrum feed 22 metres out from the line. Sticking to tradition, love it, says here. It's very frustrating for the English, definitely because they made a few metres off that rolling maul first and foremost, and then just giving it up in the end. We'll mention anyone who is new to the channel. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have still got plenty more coming today. Believe it or not, we're up to the 5th rugby union match. We've covered some 7s already today, and later on we've got 3 more matches of the 7s starting in only about an hour and 50 minutes time. Alongside that, we have then got the quarterfinals of the 7s. That will be in around 8 hours time, which we will still be awake for. And then later on, we've got the other game of the Six Nations alongside the 7s. Now, referee not happy about that scrum, so we're going to have another reset. But Scotland have got Duan van der Merwe way out wide, sitting only 5 metres from this near touch, then probably about a 25 to 30 metre spacing between him and the next man on the inside. There could be a cross kick. There could be a wide cutout pass. Fruit does not belong on pizza, says Mr. Marmite. Now Scotland. And England 7, South Africa B team 5, says Michael Webber. Now, Ben White puts the ball in, and it's a free kick to England. That is the last thing that Scotland would have wanted, other than, of course, a penalty against them. But England will now be able to clear their lines, and I believe it will be just inside of the 22, which does mean they can kick this one out on the full. And it is kicked into touch. Scotland actually decide against taking it quickly. If Scotland win this, will it be 5 or 6 times in a row against England? That will be 5. So no other time in history has a Scottish side been able to get 5 wins in a row for the Kolkata Cup. So if they were able to do that, they would make their own history here. France will take tomorrow probably. England will still be 3rd if they win, says Reno. That is true, although they do close that gap just that little bit more. Thrown in, nicely taken by the Scottish. And how much more can you handle, Hamish? Impressed with your handling skills, says Lilia B. I'll be honest, I have no idea how I'm still wide awake. I have been up for almost 24 hours, and we're still up for another 8. Like, I got one little nap in between. Maybe that's all it took. Just one 30-minute or hour sleep. And we're good to go for another 24. Now, Alex Mitchell onto the left-hand side here. Off to Will Stewart. And the English will take this. We'll give a score prediction within 10 minutes, says Stefan. How you doing good, Hamish, says Reno. I've been told to use it. It's going to be kicked high by Alex Mitchell. I see taken to the back from Blair Kinghorn. We'll look to run it back, looking for the offload there, and it's a little bit risky. There is an advantage, though. Is there? No, he just said that it went backwards. And England and Scotland will be feeling a bit less comfortable after that Welsh performance, says Brian. Is the match done, says Lily the Best? It is not. We're currently 16 minutes in, and it's sitting 7 points to 5. And there's too much kicking, says Joshua. If England can win this, can we declare independence? Says John, nicely taken at the back by Finn Smith. Now Alex Mitchell looking off to the left-hand side yet again. Now rolling it back for another box kick. We've seen quite a few of those throughout this fixture already. As the match done, says Reno, it is not. No, plenty of time remaining. Still time for plenty of action. But Ben White goes back across to Pierce Scorman, who was hit hard. Now being told to use it yet again. Kicking high is Ben White, discussing we cannot watch live on TV. I agree. Like, I feel like it should be, in fact, it should be free to air on the BBC, isn't it? In the UK. I think, I could be wrong there, of course, but yeah, I think it is on BBC. Some weird comments in the chat. Amish says, Reno, we are used to it by this time. What was the best day of your life? You don't have to tell us if it's too personal. Honestly, I can't even remember what happened last week. That is one slight downside of doing so many all-nighters. Your brain stops working every once in a while, but like it's, you know, I'm happy enough. I'm sure I've had some good moments. That sounded really sad, but like, yeah, I don't remember too much. encouraging performance from that Welsh team early on today, says Tabiso. Yeah, Wales doing a lot better than most people thought that they were going to. Looks like Tom Curry has a bit of a knee injury at the moment here for the English. There are a few sites, but they are not loading. Says Clint. Yeah, we've had a lot of injury stoppages throughout today, just in general. I just remember Hamish is not watching the game, or is watching the game, and you are not, although some people are, of course, watching alongside us. That was beautifully put, Hamish, says RIP. Now, looks like we are going to get to have the eventual line out. It is Scotland's ball. Now Dave Cherry. Ready again to throw this ball in. And the verdict is straight enough. I can't do that, Julia. Need 3 estates together, says John. It's going to be an advantage there. And the penalty does go the way of Scotland now. It looked like crawling on the ground was the call against the referee, or at least it looked like that was the motion that he did. Now Finn Russell able to once again kick this one towards the sideline. Oh, that's kind of skew-whiffed off the side of Finn Russell's boot. Didn't get as many metres on it as he would have liked. And Hamish, as the chat is about food, can you say eggs for me? Crack me up to hear a New Zealander say this. Did I say it weird, or did I say it... I don't think I said it awfully. How are you supposed to say eggs? Eggs. Now, oh, beautiful offload from Duan van der Merwe for the corner. Hugh Jones. That's kind of come out of nowhere for Scotland. They've just gone backline out to Duan van der Merwe. Got the offload to Hugh Jones, who manages to finish the job. And Scotland get their second, but yeah, going to the front of the line out. Then Ben White with the wide cutout pass. Same with Finn Russell. It's just a good backline movement. Great timing of the passing, and then a couple misses in the tackle department again lead to Scotland running it through. We have got there... I picked England to win, but I have a feeling about Scotland now. They're pretty good, and Scotland isn't again. And once again, too easy, says here. And we have got there... yeah, my sites aren't loading either. Well, thanks, Kiwi lads, for the best... or for the live commentary, the next best thing to watch on live stream. Thank you very much, Jameson. It is great to have you here. Now lining up this kick from the sideline, Finn Russell. We did miss the last kick, and he is missed that one as well. So that will keep the score at 7 points to 10. And impressed with Rowe so far, says Cal Mack. Yeah, he's looked good. Coming in for Darcy Graham, a man who maybe wouldn't have got a chance had it not been for that Graham injury. What's the score, says Power Bite? Currently 10 points to 7 after 2 missed kicks. Another one, Scotland, says Tabiso. And England seem to struggle against Scotland, says Hilton. It's going to be kicked off. Just mentioned about Gregor Townsend bringing in 10 new players here. I found, you found Hamish's Achilles heel, eggs, says RIP. And England, yes, England have lost 4 in a row up against the Scottish for the Kolkata Cup. And it's going to be slapped back by England, or sorry, by Scotland again. To get the possession back, kicking down the middle of the park. England retreating and Scotland the brave. Says Outlaw. Chasing after this one. One of the only men chasing his kick was Finn Smith. Ball kicking from Finn Russell going to cost the team. Your eggs and apples is eggs and apples, I assume that is. From Rob. That's going to be now. On back for Marcus Smith. Now. Nice step from Ollie Lawrence. Gets the offload away to Mitchell. Quick hands on the short side. I heard Townsend made Braveheart mandatory viewing before every England game. Maybe why they have the streak now. And what do you think of the Highlanders versus Blues game? Brilliant performance from the Highlanders. Blues were lackluster again for 2 games in a row. And that is going to be another penalty this time going the way of Scotland. The crowd are not happy about it, but leaving the feet was Ben Earl. We have the Amish who are a legend. I've watched live streams where the guy just watches the game silently and then says yeah to himself when he reads live chats. Says Power Bite. Watches the game silently and says yeah to himself when he reads live chats. Was that a rugby one, or was it a different sport? Because there are not many rugby guys doing it, I don't think. That narrows it down to about 3. It was a good tackle on King on, and then, yeah, there's Ben Earl's hands down, which of course is not allowed. And then also puts his elbow down. He broke about 3 laws within the one breakdown. We have to wear skirts. Our rugby balls are too big for trousers, says John. They said it was a 50-50 call. Which one? It was about 2 or 3 things that it could have gone against them. That's true, Powerboat. Reading for your channel to grow. Hamish, mate, you put in a hell of a shift, says here. Going off to the left now for the Scottish. About 30 metres out from the line. Ben White quickly uses it, goes to Russell, skips the man in the middle again, and now King On goes out to Duan Thunder Mover. He's just fended Marcus Smith right in the face. Hamish, why was my comment about the BBC taken down, says Kevin? I have no idea where your comment was. I don't think I've seen it. When was it? Was it just before? So if it was just before, I never saw it, so I'd assume that was a YouTube thing, maybe, rather than our moderators. Because even when a moderator removes a message, I still see it in the chat. But that's going to be lost by Scotland with the knock on. Rugby 25 is all about updates for life. 24 minutes in, and now scrum feed for the English here. And BBC sucks, says Sakabula. And we have there are quite a few watch-along rugby streamers. We are by far the best, says Lydia B. Thank you very much. Yeah, we've got plenty more coming up. We've got the 7s still. As you guys can see, the eyes are starting to get a little bit more bloodshot as we've been up for an extended period of time. But we're still coming back tomorrow. We've got the Six Nations match between France and Italy, as well as all the 7s that we can do. Now, Alex Mitchell, ready to feed the ball in. In fact, when we think about the 7s and also just the weekend in general, we have done more now. We're more than 50% of the way through, I think. Yeah. By quite a bit. Now, that's going to be the penalty going the way of the English. A little bit too much movement at scrum time by the looks of that one. We have got there, Scotland has a dinosaur that lives... Wait, what? Scotland has a dinosaur that lives in a puddle. I'm reading that correct, aren't I? But nobody has ever seen it. And it's a rugby one. It was awful. Just complete silence. And then, oh yeah, great. Try. Reads the live chat to himself. Says yeah to himself. Says Powerbite. See, I sometimes get told that I talk too much. And sometimes I get distracted and don't talk about the game. There's another one that I've been told a bit. Amaro Atoje going to be taking that one nicely for the English. 40 metres out of Alice Genge. Going to pin back his ears. Oh, Dave Cherry cleaned out of that breakdown, and it looks like once again Mitchell will roll it back for another box kick. And good mix, Hamish, says John. And that one is going to be kicked high. And this is a magical monster, not a dinosaur, says Powerbite. Your eyes are still good. You're reading it correctly, says Lilia B. And Hamish is too young to know about Nessie, says RIP. I know of the Loch Ness Monster, but I didn't really get his reference for a start, I'll be honest. But that might be the 24 hours awake thing. But now nicely slapped back by the Scottish. Ben White goes to Finn Russell, looking for the 50-22, although he won't be able to get it due to it being taken back, but still a very nice kick. If England win, the Scots will call the richest monster to deal with them. And mate, being in Canada, I've listened to rugby games on the radio, and I prefer your stream over that. Appreciate the conversation, says Jameson. And yeah, it is just something a little bit different. Like, some people just want commentary, which we probably don't give them that much of the experience for that. But, like, at the end of the day, it's very unique to be able to talk to you guys while doing commentary, while talking about a game that you guys are also following, if that makes sense. Like, radio, you don't get that. TV, you don't get that. So it's like a really unique thing, you know? But the fact that we've covered so many countries around the world as well is just absolutely awesome, bringing all rugby lovers together. Now it's going to be rolled back. Ben White inside of the 22, so this time it can go out on the full. He's got a decent hoof on that, and Duan van der Merwe drops the ball, so they won't be able to take that one quickly. Oh, yeah, I've got there. You're doing very well. You know how to engage with the viewers. Keep it going, says the best. So thank you very much. And we have also got Hamish, your commentaries at tops. Ignore any self-appointed critics of your style, says Rob Joy. And also, and for us to be part of it, Hamish, says John. And thanks for your good work. Always go to your stream, matey, says Rose. Thank you very much. And yeah, we are here week in, week out. Whether it's a random hour of the night. It's currently 6:16 a.m. New Zealand time. But we are still somehow wide awake, and I don't know how. I feel like at this point, my face, you know how sometimes when you're tired, you feel like your eyes are like going to squint? I can't even feel my face. But now slap back, and it's going to be now on the favour of the English. Alex Mitchell again looks like he's considering, you guessed it, no, he's going to pass it. That actually threw me off. I thought he was going to go for the box kick. And Hamish, I've checked out a few. Drop them all bar you. Enough said, says Kernovik. And thank you for your effort. We all love this platform, says Kevin. Thank you very much. And it wouldn't be the same without you guys in the chat as well. That's what makes this special. Now it's going to be kicked downfield from Scotland after a bit of a handling error there from England. They regather 5 metres out from the line. Marcus Smith going to be kicking this one out. It is not the best kick, hardly making it out of the 22. Like they've just said, not the best minute. All that can be avoided. If you have a cup of coffee, Hamish says Suckabulla. That is true, but like I'm still awake enough. In fact, I don't know why I'm so hyper. I'm a little bit concerned. To be honest, I don't know what was in that chicken that I had about 5 hours ago, but it's gone all right. They've been disposing of you steadily for 300 years, says John. You must be the only guy in New Zealand with jet lag, but you never leave home. Yeah, honestly, my sleep schedule, I should say, is very broken. And I don't know how to fix it. Every once in a while, I'll have some good days where I'm on a New Zealand time zone and then I'm back to the Northern Hemisphere. But nice run forward from Duan van der Merwe. Ben White goes back across to the left. Richie crashes forward. Scotland can score before this halftime break. That would give them a huge amount of confidence. Of course, also chasing after the bonus point for 4 or more tries. Hugh Jones short side. Another missed tackle from England. That has been a very common factor throughout this first half. Now, Johnny Gray trying to get the turnover was Maro Atoje. Xander Fagerson now 10 metres from the try line. Ben White goes back across to Pierre Skurman. And now they have numbers if they want to use them. It's gone through the hands of Kyle Rowe, but sits up now on the outside for Tom Jordan. And I've said there's a little knock on. Who has been playing the better rugby in the first 25? I would say Scotland have, just because of all the defensive errors we have seen from the English. They've led to some pretty easy opportunities. But, like, it's still one of those ones that England, they're in this game. And I don't think they're going anywhere yet. Scotland have been close multiple times, but England have had a fair share of chances too. We've got there, do you have Monday off work? I don't think so. I think I'm going to be working in the afternoon. So we'll probably, I think that's the Sevens finishes, I'll just have a quick look here. Yeah, Sevens finishes at 2:41. So what might end up happening is I'll probably end up working maybe like 3 to 5 on Monday, but there will also be a gap in the morning where there isn't any Sevens. So I might end up popping away, doing a quick job and then coming back. We'll see. And all part of a long-term strategy. If we can't push you out, we'll feed you out. And with 30 minutes left, you must be nuts to take points when you can. Yeah, 30 minutes past at the moment. Scrum feed now for England. Side of their 22. That was not forward bad call. Yeah, I don't think there was a touch of the ball, to be honest. I think Pierce Skurman might have been saying the same, but he's been told to get back. But now, another scrum chance. There's been a lot of scrums throughout this day of rugby, I will admit. URC match, we had quite a few. Wales versus Ireland, we had quite a few. And there were actually some really, really good bits of jobs from Wales in the scrums. They were able to win, I think, about 4 penalties. Are you a carpenter, bricklayer? So pretty much just a little bit of a labourer is the better way of describing it. So pretty much just when there's a little bit of extra work that needs to be done, screwing off, which sounds a bit dodgy, but like, you know, putting in nails, all the fun jobs that no one really wants to do. And what's our clock at the moment? It is 30 minutes through. Hopefully one moment I'll move my mouse. There we go. It has just updated. And then concrete's normally the other fun one. But that is going to be now a scrum feed for the English. Scotland winning the scrum battle, your personal game of the tournament, Six Nations so far. I think it has to be France-England. And I don't think that's going to change getting into the later stages of the comp. Just that game was outstanding. Back and forth, both teams seemed like they were going to be able to win it. Scotland in complete control, says Stephen. Hello, Stephen. Welcome back. Concrete does a hard job, bro. Good on you, says Jameson. It's even harder when you're as I guess, as light and like half the concrete weighs more than me, unfortunately. So it's normally a pretty hard run. Concrete is a good place to hide South Africans. I can't find this on any app in Scotland, says Kilted. Is the BBC in Scotland or not? If it's not, then I'm not too sure whereabouts it would be on Scottish TV. But now the scrum holding steady for both teams. England's still going to be that 10 metres out from their own try line. The pick and go off the back. And ITVX, I would think it would be on ITVX. And sadly, yes, we have the BBC, so I think it would be on the BBC. Hopefully, anyway. It sounds like that's where everyone else has been watching it. Are ready to try Kiwi Lads merch again? Not really, to be honest. I think that maybe a couple people would consider it. At the same time, it's going to sound weird, but I always feel bad if you guys are giving any form of like money or anything. Like anytime we get a donation, it's greatly appreciated, but I always feel like, you know, like it's free what we're doing. So I feel bad when you guys are giving your hard-earned money. So then like merchandise, you know, to make a decent quality bit of merch, it's going to be probably quite expensive, and I don't want that. I just played England versus Scotland on Rugby 25, and England won 30 points to 10. Springboks is casting a shadow over everyone, says Jane. Going to be a kicker behind, and the mark is taken by England. And can't get it on ITVX either. And for sure, it must be the England-France game. I've never rooted for the English before, says Sucker Buller. And they have got the same man coming off the bench as he did in that matchup against the French, Elliot Daly. Maybe could have a chance at a last-minute one again. Someone told me it was a good play, says Mr. Marmite. A line-out throw for the English. And BBC Live 5 says Shalom. So hopefully that is an option for some of you guys to be able to watch this contest. Line-out throw for Scotland, I should say, rather than England. Dave Cherry going to be throwing this ball in. Nicely taken by Scotland. No rolling maul. Oh, it's actually going to be a penalty advantage for playing the man in the air, so that's even more of a bonus for the away side. And watching on ITVX at the moment, using VPN, of course, says Brian. Right, this one I think is too far out for a kick. I think instead Scotland will look to go aggressive and go towards the corner, just as I think it's the better system. And Hamish, what are your thoughts on France pulling a 7-1 split? Interesting choice up against the Italians. It's the type of one that can either be a great move, or if they lose a back early due to injury, it can seem like a poor decision. But obviously they've seen that physicality that the Italians bring, and they want to be able to match it plus add a bit more on top. Watching the game on Sky Italia, good coverage here. Says Richard. Of course, that game between Italy and France taking place tomorrow. We will also be covering that one on the channel. 25 metres out from the line here, Scotland in possession. Still 5 minutes left to work. Pierre Skurman didn't get much of a hand to that one. Almost is a pop pass forward. That's a good attack and run from Tom Jordan. 22 metres out from the line. Scotland are committing to everything they're doing here, just throwing themselves at the line. There's going to be some bruises. In fact, that looks like Hugh Jones really hurt his back, taking the big shot earlier. Now Finn Russell goes back across to Duan van der Merwe, fends off Alex Mitchell. Italy will win 15 points to 14. Because I think last year in the Six Nations, those two sides, they drew, didn't they? And Italians haven't passed it for dinner to make sure I've given them a good run. So here's Kevin, now Blair Kinghorn almost through. Ollie Lawrence makes the important tackle. Ben White, that's going to be a little knock on the ground from Ben White, who has said that Lawrence came in through the side. The ref says he's legal. The ref is favouring England, says Brian. And Scots always play well at Twickenham. And today, no exception. We're just seeing it now coming in. Where is this? You know, he wasn't the cleanest in there, Ollie Lawrence, although he was the tackler. Just twists it around. He was a little bit high on Hugh Jones as well in that breakdown. But I believe it is now going to be the line out for the English. Allianz says, Justin, we're not calling it Allianz. Twickenham, of course. The old name that is the better of the two, I would say. And we go there. That's 3 beers down. The whiskey getting cracked open now. And England and Wales both struggling, but I will stick to England 17 points to 13. And Justin with the cowboy emoji. And there too, Italy missed a penalty to beat France. Then they drew. That's right. Yeah, last minute thriller between those sides. Just a small fraction of time earlier today. I believe Wales could cause a massive upset, says Sakabula. And yeah, they weren't a mile off. Oh yeah, Willis got dropped there by Alice Genge's head. Actually a bit of friendly fire for him, so he will have to make his way off the field. So Ben Curry, he will make his way on. Just to make it confusing now, we're going to have 2 Currys and they're identical twins. And one of the Currys is on, says Brian. Now both of the Currys, in fact. Speaking of merch, has anyone noticed how much black and white symbolism and outfits rugby shows are deploying these days? It's insane, says Powerbite. I mean, I'm wearing a black and white shirt. Are you meaning like that? But now, going to be a scrum feed for the English, in fact, from that knock on, not the line out. I thought we had already seen one more phase after that. Ham and bacon along with a double curry. Says Kevin, I love you all and also love mayonnaise. Says Caretaker with a wink face. Is mayonnaise like a term for something else? I actually don't like mayonnaise, believe it or not. I'm very basic in terms of what I eat. So mayonnaise is not high on the list. But now, it's going to be 4 minutes remaining. England inside of the 22 with another scrum feed. Only 1 try on the board for them. It was Tommy Freeman who scored it. And relatively controversial fashion, I guess you could say. But now kicking from inside of the 22, looking for the touch line. And it's going to curve back infield. And I just mailed, no weird sexual meaning, I promise, is Caretaker. Oh, that was almost out for the Scottish, but they've kept the ball alive. Kinghorn going off to Tom Jordan. Thought about the offload, almost knocked on by Ben White, but it's going to be play on. Gilchrist now. Oh, he's been smashed by Ollie Chisholm. Now off to Jack Dempsey. Hugh Jones joins the breakdown to try and protect it. Mayo is made from X. Says that Mr. Marmite, the Masala brothers have been quiet, says Callum Mack. Now going off to the right-hand side. Kyle Rowe, Dave Cherry cuts inwards. Marcus Smith slipping in back play and onto the ball there. England getting the clean steal. That is Ben Curry, who has only just made his way onto the field. Hamish, we need a tour of your fridge. What do you eat? Says Lilia B. Honestly, not a huge amount. Because normally, in terms of in-between streams, it's just toast or chicken if I have time. About it. Banana every once in a while. Jack Dempsey, one of the greatest boxers of all time. Says Kevin. You're all right, Hamish, but Ryan Wilson, David Flatman and Johnny May this week showing off their funny handshake membership with their outfits. So obvious that it's slightly annoying. Says Powerbite. And we have got there, as your first name, Tom. I had a friend in England called Tom. And no banana, says Caretaker. And the banana emojis from Robert there too. Now another line out, this time Scotland have got the throw. Visits to the opposition 22. They've had 6 so far. Gotten 10 points from it, averaging 1.7. Only one visit for England to the opposition 22, but they did manage to score during that visit. So, you know, it's very different for these two sides in terms of the landscape of what's happened throughout the first half. Yet with all those visits, Scotland only find themselves ahead by the 3 points currently. They need to make the most of it. So Curry tried to smuggle that one, and he's done just that. And it's going to now be the scrum feed for the English again. We've got 1 minute 15 remaining, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a scrum reset milked here, so that it can then be just long enough to take them into half-time. And honestly, it could go either way throughout the second if that was the case. They did not score. Given a gift was England, says Kevin. Yeah, that one was controversial in terms of whether or not there was a grounding. The TMO said he wanted to check it. Then after that said, hang on, I'm actually going to say no. Can't be bothered. Can we talk about betting odds, or is that frowned upon in this chat? You can go for it. Like, people talk about it anyway. Some people ask me for predictions, but I try not to give too many just because we've had it before, how like someone asked if a side was going to score a certain amount of points. I said I think they will, and then I got a message from them saying that because of what I said, it cost them like a whole heap of money and that they were going to kill me. So that was when I learnt maybe don't give my own predictions too often. Do we get a halftime guess the player game this week? I actually forgot to make one. I feel bad. We could do the same player as last week, but I feel like you guys will know exactly who it is. But now, going to be England's scrum feed. 8 seconds remaining. Penalty goes the way of the English. And Mermaid says Thabiso. And Rupert says Shane Peters. But yeah, the odds for this game were interesting because like Scotland, with the role that they've been on up against the English, did find themselves relatively close. But then England in the win predictor before the match was actually 73% to go on to win this game. Finn Smith looking like he will kick this one to touch, so they won't actually go with the quick tap and put it into touch. Oh man, if you're going to gamble, at least take accountability and don't be a degenerate, says Jameson. Yeah. It's an interesting one, but like a lot of the fellas who bet on the rugby have never watched a game of rugby before. So that's the more concerning part, that, you know, they'll ask how long the game is or what rugby actually is and how you score points. Now Marcus Smith, he's about to show exactly how you score points, stepping side to side and then eventually dragged down by Duhan van der Merwe. Alex Mitchell, skip pass, Ollie Lawrence. Oh, he's tried to flick it over the top and it's gone into touch, and that will be the end of the half. But a close one at the end, a little bit of a nervous moment for the Scots. But the English not able to capitalise. We have got to accept the Marmite and anyone but England, right? Come on, you Scots. And the Angry Mermaid says Thabiso there, and Few says John. Yeah, close chance there. Being able to score it. They said going for the glory, trying to get that last pass, and he took a little while to get off the ground there out of pure disappointment. I got 250 plus, or sorry, plus 250 betting before. Beer went to 275 by kickoff. Should have waited, says Justin. And game on, guys, says it was there from John. Yeah, it could easily go either way for these two teams. I'll try my best not to spill any water on myself. However, there, Scotland won't last 80 minutes. Scotland, I assume that won't last 80 minutes. I hope so. So you want Scotland to do well, Mornay, or you don't? I'm confused. And Scotland can do this, says Brian. I think I could have finished that in one go, but we will refrain from doing so. But we will get some stats to do with this first half, ladies and gents. Also, do let me know what you thought of it. I don't know why that sounded so sarcastic. It wasn't supposed to, but yeah. What do you think of that first 40? Scotland, I think, had the better half, but England showed little glimmers of the possibility of scoring. Be careful, Hamish, says Mr. Marmite. England to win by 7, says Mornay. And come on, Scotland, says Powerbite, as well as Sakabula. I'm just going to look here at some of the stats to do with this game. I should mention we're only about an hour and 20 minutes away from our next live stream as well. That is going to be Fiji versus Spain. Straight after that, Ireland versus New Zealand in the 7s, and then South Africa versus Australia as well. First 40, reckon Hamish ate a couple disco biscuits to get through the stream, hence the water drinking. There's Power Bite. What does your Apple or Spotify music playlist look like? I've got one that's called the 100-Hour Power Tower, which I made. It sounds like I made while I was on something, but I was not. But it's just 100 hours of songs from all generations, all across the board, 1,600 songs or so in that playlist. And you just, you stick it on, whether you're at a wedding or whether you're in your backyard doing a bit of gardening. You can just stick the playlist on. There's a bit of something for everyone. But yeah, it's my story. Okay, there, knowing England's talent for pulling something out of nothing. There's John. Great first half. Scotland holding their own. Hope they can keep it up in the great second, says Lilia B. I thought there would be more points, to be honest. In recent years, the Kolkata Cup has been unreal, says Jameson. And yeah, I think it's going to go down to the wire as well, which is why this rivalry has slowly kept on building. But Scotland trying to become the first Scottish team, or the first time ever that Scotland would have 5 wins over England in a row for the Kolkata Cup. Currently at 4. So if they don't do it, it's going to take a long time to get back for another chance here. They're leading by 3. They made 311 metres throughout the first half compared to the 136 of the English. England made 76 tackles compared to the 43 of the Scottish. Possession 56% in favour of the Scottish. They are now considered the slightly more likely favourite to go on to win this game, which is different to what it was at the start of the match. Seen the 2 tries being scored to. Line breaks 3-1. Defenders, 16 defenders beaten by Scotland compared to the 4 of the English. Now Hamish is still banging it out here. Worldwide commentary. Come on, Scotland, says Power Bite. What time is the Blitzbox going to play? They are going to be playing at 9:36 p.m. South African time. And we are going to be doing that one on the channel 2. And who do you think will win this one? Well, Scotland, to me, it's their game to lose. The problem that they've got, though, is they've had 10 handling errors throughout that first half, which is a lot higher than I believe they would have liked it to be. But, they have still done very well in terms of the amount of, attacking opportunities that they have found themselves with. All right, we're quickly going to go here. We're just going to have a quick look at the 7s. So, yeah, the first stream that we've got for the 7s is at 7:50. That is going to be Fiji versus Spain, then New Zealand, Ireland, then Australia versus South Africa. So if you guys want to pop in for those, be sure to do so. Then we are covering the quarterfinals, which are taking place from 1:51 p.m. New Zealand time onwards. So we're going to have a long day ahead. We will go like that and like that. We have got there in the chat from Kerr, Scotland doing well with all the injuries they are carrying, says Kerr. And yeah, they've had some really aggressive backlines that have led to some great moments. How's Finn Russell playing? His passing's been all right. He's favouring that skip pass a bit more. That's what they said every time they're whipped, says John. And is Owen Farrell still tackling with his shoulder whenever he plays, says Xander. I honestly don't really know. I think I've only seen him play once in recent times. All Scottish have to do is grab the ball and run with it, says Ruth. It's easier said than done, though, of course, in that regard. Yeah, they are just showing some of the highlights of this first half. It has been all over the field, although hardly any time for England inside of Scotland's 22. Just showing the highlights of that first and second try. Ben White with the support run for the first, and then Hugh Jones just bulldozing his way over the try line for the second. And Miss Marmite, the dog's away to the shop to get me more beer. That is a well-trained dog, Calmac. Does he pick the brand as well that you're after? The one fun to move. He's just celebrating that try after he had made that pass to Hugh Jones. Looks like he was trying to rub it in the face of Ollie Lawrence, which now kind of makes me want him to not win, but they still should, the Scottish. Hey, you asked for it, Mr. M. I asked for nothing, says Mr. Marmite. Second half won't be a mile away from taking place. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Just looking at it now, the half ended about, about 8 minutes ago. So we've probably got another 5 minutes before the second half goes in. What's your name? My name is Hamish. And Scotland playing well, says Stuart. Give me the ball and I will sprint, says Powerbite for Duan Funamurva. Looking through at the benches for these two sides. For England, they've got Jamie George, Finn Baxter, Hayes. George Martin was not there, so Hill instead takes on that 19 jersey. Then also alongside that, they have Chandler Cunningham himself and Ben Curry. So the 6-2 split here for the English. Harry Randall and Elliot Daly there as the number 23. For Scotland, Ashman, Sutherland and Hurd. As the front row, Sam Skinner and Brown. Then Fagerson, also a 6-2 split. Dobie and Stafford McDowell. In the chat here, we have got, imagine if France are a bit off tomorrow and Italy beat them, and Hamish is awesome. Being faithful and loyal comes easily. He's my favourite rugby lad, said Lilia. And did you see that VR cricket game on the MetaQuest 3? Something you would play? I have looked at it. I'd have to buy all the bells and whistles for it, though. And then also, like, it would have to be something that I can record, so I'd have to buy something for that too. So it would be an expensive venture. But, yeah, it looks like a very fun game. Kyle Rowe has really stepped up today. Yeah, he's been impressive out on that right wing, making good decisions. Hugh Jones in the middle has done very well too. And Hamish, nice to meet you, legend, says Jameson. And also we have got the, I know the feeling we can't miss him, says Ruth. But second half, in terms of players who need to step up, I think we need to see a bit more from Marcus Smith in this matchup. Wouldn't be the worst thing to happen for them if he was a little bit more heavily involved. And we have got there, hi Ronaldo, says John, and hi from Ronaldo edits there too. Hamish has been classically trained like a 50s movie star. Classically trained. I don't think I've ever been described as classically trained, I would say. But the first for everything. Currently showing an interview with the Hurricanes. They were able to get themselves the win over the Fijian draw yesterday in Super Rugby Pacific. Bro, I'm a girl, says Ronaldo. But we can still say hi to you, can't we? Or is that not allowed? Looking through at what is to come up in the next week of the Six Nations. We have to wait. Next weekend not happening. This weekend happening currently. But then next weekend, I repeated myself, but we haven't got a game. Weekend after that, Ireland versus France. Boy, that is a big contest. We will be covering that one on the channel too. Scotland versus Wales to follow. Could be intriguing after the way that the Welsh were able to play in their last match. They're talking about Rugby 08 and the Hurricanes one. There's been a lot of talks about the rugby games lately. And England versus Italy. That will be the game on Monday. I've got there in the chat a spammer, so we have to get rid of that. Here we go. And we have got there, Hamish. I'd call you the Pink Floyd of commentary. Thank you, I think. And we have got there, JK Man, I love your streams. And Vids Man. We've got another spammer. It's ever since we mentioned about whether or not we've had spammers on the channel. Then boom, they show up. I don't mention Pink Floyd. I just spent another 2K US on vinyl, says Kerr. I think Ireland versus France at the tournament decider, says Jameson. It does look that way. It seems like that will be the one that really shapes this competition. Second half now. Very close. They're just showing the cricket that has taken place. I keep zoning out. I will be honest. I was just kind of kind of looking at that shiny jacket that they showed on the screen. And I kind of left for a second, but I'm back. Yeah, just a bit. Says Kerr in there as well. Oh, that's for if he is a collector. Do you like Scotland? I don't mind Scotland. Scotland is all right. I have a Scottish hat somewhere. I can't find the hat. But, yeah, Scotland go well. Now, I would say we're probably only about a minute away from the second half, at a guess. Yeah, it's been about 13 minutes since the end of that first half. I would say maybe one or two more ads, and then we're into English will win this one, says Asabongi. They are currently down by 3, but more than capable of being able to fight back into the match. And if you did have a wild prediction for a second half, what would it be? I think both sides score 2 tries, says Jameson. Is that for, I assume, your bet? But, like, I honestly don't know how the second 40 is going to go. Like, Scotland might come out firing. England might come out determined and get a couple quick fire ones. Right. Change that England made near the end of the first half is permanent. Ben Curry is on the field, and that is due to the injury or the HIA failure of Tom Willis. Scotland are hungry, says John. And Ferries wear boots. And also, have you got Black Sabbath, says Ruth. And Scottish Fight Back started to go the Bravehearts. And I miss Tom. I miss my UK friends. They were cooler than South Africans in general, but a bit more ugly, says RIP. And will history be made 5 times in a row for Scotland, says Brian. I mean, they've started in a effective manner, that is for sure. And we give it all to England, says John. And Scotland about to make it 6 in a row, methinks. Well, it would be 5 in a row. I thought it was already 5, my bad, says Justin. No worries at all. But yeah, it would be a record if they are able to get all of these ones in quick succession. 5 back to back to back. That is very hard to do. They needed our charity, says John. But now Pierre Brosset ready to get us back underway for the second half of the Six Nations fixture between Scotland and England at Twickenham. And England taking it nicely inside of their own half. Inside of that 22-2. Yeah, quite a few Black Sabbath 2, says Gurr. And a bit of a pity, says John. Like they have just said, both of these sides, they need this win to remain in contention for the Six Nations title. It will still be pretty tough to get it. Classic, legendary and Hamish, says Ruth. In Scotland, says Joshua. How do we support the channel? Can you shout out your socials? Says Jameson. So we don't really have many other social medias other than YouTube, to be fair. Like, we've got an Instagram, but we don't actually post on it. Eventually we're going to, but we've left it that long that now I have to find, like, the perfect first post. And I don't know what that would be. But, yeah, that's the link. And then, other than that, just pretty much checking out the videos and like on it, subscribing, all that good stuff. We have got the channel membership with the emojis, as well as donations enabled, but those ones are nowhere near compulsory. Now, Hugh Jones goes back across to Finn Russell, out to Jack Dempsey. Scotland, they had more possession throughout the first half, so they'll be looking to build upon that here. And it looks like they are going to go for the box kick again now. Now kicked high, bit of a loose one. Gone backwards, says the referee. We've got the 5 gifted memberships from Brian. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated for your generosity. Come on, Scotland. I'm checking in from Albuquerque, New Mexico, says John. And currently in the process of buying all the bootleg unofficial Pink Floyd releases. That's a penalty to England now. Hands in the ruck. Call against the Scottish. And this time it's Ben Curry. Again, he's already got 2 turnovers since making his way onto the field. Perfect first post. And then and now maybe, says Lilia B. Could be an idea. Regan Townsend looking a little bit frustrated. And we have the amazing Brian, you're on fire. And don't think Floyd was classically trained, but neither was Hendrick, says Sakabula. So Ben White might have got a bit of a finger in the eyeball or something along those lines, as he does not look too flash, just at that current point in time. Henry Slade, going to put that one into touch. What are these picks at the bottom of the scoreboard? It's pretty much just like, yeah, for some reason the ads have been popping up on the scoreboard now, which looks very weird, I will give you that. And I don't know why they're all females in shoes and whatnot, but yeah. It's an interesting one. Now going off to the left-hand side. Hamish's personalised ad, says John. I think it's more so the Timu than the ladies, I would say. But we've also had, it was Omaru Roofing, I think, was one of the ones that we've had earlier on, and health insurance and whatnot, so I don't know what they're trying to get at. We don't need no education. We don't need no voice control. Pink Floyd, another brick in the wall. Now, another threatening moment there for the English, but Ollie Lawrence, he has dropped the ball yet again. He will not be happy. I've been searching butt plugs. You have, John, or it'd be an interesting search, I would say. Probably shows you things that you don't know whether or not you wanted to see them till you see them. For the foot fetish demographics, says Justin. And we got the laughing there in the chat as well. That's why your ads are showing butts. There's no butts there. There's a female with a singlet on for some reason. I think it's more so that that's just Timu's marketing. They try and get you by showing you pictures of women. I wonder what Martin Johnson thinks of these locks. Says Kevin. Irish is blushing, says Mr. Marmite. Not really. I think I'm always this red. But now it's going to be kicked downfield from Finn Russell. Now Marcus Smith charging forward again. Actually charging into his own teammate. Now going up high. The one Fundermerva. That's going to be loose, and it is knocked on again by the Scottish. Set the controls for the Heart of the Sun. That's Floyd as Floyd, says Kurno Vic. Now, another time off. It looks like there's going to be another couple changes. Jamie George as well as Elliot Daly, both making their way onto the field. Grr, says John. I assume that's because of the drop ball. Damn cookies, says Mr. Marmite. I saw our teacher's feet on a camping trip and nobody had a crush on her again. It's an interesting sentence, isn't it? Set the controls performed at Pompey Theatre Classic, says Sakabula. Hamish, the first one looks like an ass crack with a diamond in it. I was looking at that before thinking this is an interesting post, but normally it rotates. They have about 3 different ads that they go through, but apparently not now. I miss watching the box play, says the Beso. And also we have got there, what does the chat think of Marcus Smith or Freddie Stewart? I mean, Smith has his place in this English side. Freddie Stewart, normally pretty safe under the high ball. Now passing across Russell goes Hugh Jones. Across to Blair Kinghorn. Currently on that halfway line. Very evenly matched at the moment, these two sides. But Scotland, when they get it right, they can be extremely dangerous. Duan Fundermerva almost tackled more by his own teammate than he was by Finn Smith or Tommy Freeman, in fact. Now about 35 metres out from the line. Now we have got there John in there from Brian. Hamish has a foot fetish. I have about as far from a foot fetish as one can have. Now Ben White going off to the left-hand side. Oh, that was a weird-looking pass from Jack Dempsey, but he's found the pass to Finn Russell, which now goes on the outside to Jamie Ritchie. They are back inside of the 22 here for Scotland. Ben White, Dempsey, quick hands. Off to Gray, back to Dempsey. And come on, Scotland, says Aaron. But now back off to the right. Jamie Ritchie. Closing in on the chance of try number 3 here. Mauro Itoje sits down awkwardly and it's another knock on. Just a little mistake. So much rugby forgot the Vancouver Sevens is on, says Brian. Yeah, we are going to be covering it in the near future as well. From about an hour's time, we've got Fiji versus Spain. Then we're also covering New Zealand versus Ireland, South Africa versus Australia. And then from there, we have got the quarterfinals taking place throughout the mid-afternoon, or the early afternoon, in fact, as well. So plenty still to happen on today for the Kiwi Lads channel. Looks like Tom Curry now going to make his way off the field. That is with that injury from earlier on. We mentioned about his knee. Didn't look too good, and now it doesn't look too good again. Chandler Cunningham himself, he is going to make his way onto the field. MCC have the same issue, said Brian. Yeah, that is now 2 changes that they've had to make. Now, scrum feed for England. They will still only be about 5 metres out from their try line. Luckily, they did go with a 6-2 split, or else they would have been one short and maybe would have had to go with a lock or someone in that position. Once again, England, they will just be looking to either win the penalty or force their way forward. Georgie, I need you up. So I think that's Jamie George that they are talking to. And that's gone down. Awkward scrum, and the penalty goes the way of England. Ben Earl. He's shouting like a goose again. He loves celebrating when they win the scrums. Okay, back to the rugby, says John, and this conversation has dropped to the lowest point of the body of the feet. And Hamish Harry Potter is the son of Stuart Potter from England International from Leicester, says Power Bite. Now they will kick this one towards the touchline. 3 scrum penalties going against the Scottish. Is this game a little boring? It's just reached a stalemate just for now, which I feel like both sides are on the verge of breaking through. Yeah, just popping up in a little bit of angle there at scrum time. Still 32 minutes remaining. That Rivers definitely giving everyone, everything he can to England, says Brian, and Scotland is losing the scrum battle for sure. Now thrown in nicely. Oh. Good tackle made by Rory Darge. Rivers pathetic. He's coaching, I think that's coaching England maybe from Eugene. Come on, Scotland, give it a slap. Says Jean, nicely claimed to the back for Duan Futner. Move, a lot of pressure on him though. England trying to get the turnover. But it is still there for Scotland. This game, it has reached its crawling pace at the moment. I see Scotland screwing this up, says John. He's on his knees, says Ollie Chisholm. He might have the Puma t-shirt. I have Puma shoes or sneakers, like most people will call it, says Mornay Lagrange. You see, I normally try and wear like random clothes that don't have any branding on it, just because or else people think that I associate with certain brands and it gets me in trouble. But yeah, I just got just the easy shirt in it. But 49 minutes through, and use Nutella. We need a little fun to murder, says Jean. Nicely thrown in to Ollie Chisholm. Now here comes Chandler cutting himself. He was connected a little bit high by Dave Cherry on the shoulder, riding up. I'm intensely watching Hamish. Who do you think looks more likely to break this stalemate? To me, it looks like Scotland will do so. Yeah, see, that they've had some good momentum and they've at least been inside of the opposition 22. And so I think that will help them. You've got there Ben Earl celebrating the wind changing, Ben Earl celebrating a knock-on, Ben Earl celebrating the sun coming up. That is a funny image to think about, like Ben Earl opening the curtains seeing that the sun is out and then just doing his full-on big celebration that he does. And they just won the ball, says here. And the game is a bit stale at the moment. So people are chatting about feet. And Scotland penalty, says Brian. So yeah, now with Dave Cherry, they will be able to go for the line out. This one from about 35 metres out from the English line. Taken at the front. No jumping from either side in that department. Hamish, is UT true? The hottest part of the sun was page 3. Hottest part of the sun was page 3. I have no idea what you're saying, if I'm being honest, but that is a penalty now won by the English and Finn Smith. Getting a crucial one. Are you covering tomorrow's Six Nations match between France and Italy? I am, because I hate sleep, apparently. So we're going to do another all-nighter. And 11 tackles throughout this game so far, Finn Smith, but England getting one back. Topless models, Hamish. Ah, I see. And we have got there, that's for hole number 2. Okay, a lot of the chat's just in the random direction. So we'll let you chat amongst yourselves. Now, Chandler cutting himself. That's going to be a knock-on again from England. At the moment, it's just a battle with mistakes. Page 3, as in the Sun newspaper, had topless girls. Says Power Bite. Now, chance here for Elliot Daly. Can he score a last-minute thriller like he did in the match up against the French? And Scotland are doing well to hold in there without changes, since England have already pulled that card. Okay. England wanted the penalty, but they're told no in the end. Oh, they're struggling to get this ball out here, England, but they're given plenty of time by the ref. Crowd frustrated. It actually sounded like more were going for Scotland, just in terms of the cheers and whatnot. Now Finn Smith puts it high yet again. Knocked back by Kinghorn. Dewan Fundermerva. Getting driven backwards about 15 metres by Ben Curry, who's been insane since making his way onto the field. I expect Scotland to pull the replacement card in 10 minutes, says John. And a Scotland win with no bonus point on either side would be good for Ireland or France. Says Brian, yeah, really both of these sides do need to chase the 5 points, don't they? I think of this bias refereeing, says Powerbite 92. Can't wait for Southern Hemisphere Rugby to start again, says Johan now. In the middle of the field, Finn Smith knocks it on again. Right, so England keep dropping this ball. And then that is a brilliant kick downfield, about 58 metres gained by Scotland. How's the clock with you, Hamish, at the moment? It is sitting 53 minutes. A great territory gain, like I said, for Blair Kinghorn. Always saying the ref is biased, just tuned in, says Johan. And what a kick, says Brian. And better for them will be fresher in the game like this, says here. Yeah, a lot of close calls in this one for both teams. Like, England just keep on dropping the ball. And then Scotland, unfortunately, keep on giving away those penalties. So it's just a seesaw. What do you think about the French 7-1 split? Will be interesting to see how it works. And they'll have to really hope, oh, there's another penalty to England. So the continuing trajectory of this game is still in play. Scotland have had their Monster energy drinks. A ball has Vaseline on it as Scotland are going on honeymoon afterwards. So here's Kevin. And also we have got there Chandler Cutting himself as overrated, says Powerbite. He can do some really good things, but he is still very early on in his career as well. I've been here a while when I say WTF. Says Lilia B. Right, Jack Dempsey has come off for Matt Fagerson. Ewan Ashman is on for Dave Cherry. And now, Ben White, still out there for a bit longer, but I don't think they'll be too far off making... Oh, no. Wait, where is he? Is Ben White still out there? Or is it George Horn? I think they might have actually brought George Horn on by the looks of that. It's going to be another penalty going the way of England. It's been a trend. Now is when you want to bring on Johnny Matthews, says Kerr. He would be a decent option to be able to use scoreline isn't high enough for a Haggis boost. And not Dave Cherry, says Kerr. England drop the ball. Referee makes sure to give England a penalty to save them, says Powerbot 92. They have Wales plus 23, Scotland to win, and Italy plus 19 for the treble. Says Aaron. It could maybe happen. Maybe. Is it George Horn or JB Dobie? It is Dobie, yeah. Sorry, got them confused. That's who I wanted to see off the bench, but yeah, going Dobie instead. I don't see Kerr in the chat. England are playing. Found that very surprising. Kerr is like 4 messages above you, Mornay, and 2 below you. I'm only going to say it once. Referee is showing very clear bias. And has anyone tried to link to another stream in your chat before? Yes. Quite a few times. You get used to it, though. That one's going to go over from Marcus Smith. We have got there. Hamish keeps a straight face and commentary on track with his dirty talk, says Ruth. And also we have got there. Hamish, does the chat ever make you feel uncomfortable? I often find it goes in interesting directions, of course, but like at the end of the day, anything that's too weird, we just don't read out. Just because we do have a few slightly younger viewers as well. So, yeah, it feels weird reading it. As bad man, it says Eric. And we have there still back in the Scots, says Manny M. It's going to be claimed by Maru Atoje. 10 points to 10 after England do take on that 3 I should mention. Oh, speaking of which, there we go. We've got the spammer. This is the only stream that we've actually had the spammers on, I know. That was kind of my point, says Kerr. And it's going to go out on the full from the English. And we have got there, the spam is back. Yeah, 3rd time, I believe, on this live stream, if I am correct. And we're Sebastian Gramar and Blues Nate. I'm not sure about Nate. Sebastian, he popped in real early on and said hello, and then was going to be heading to sleep. So I think he might still be asleep at the moment. As a place for another nation to join Six Nations, maybe box. Yeah, although we've had this conversation about the box before, and it seems to really split opinions. But the only reason that someone came up with for why the Springboks would want to join the Rugby Championship, Six Nations rather than the Rugby Championship, was time zone. And that was pretty much it. I've seen Kerr in the chat. I do apologise, Kerr. Says Mornay. Now, England only a few metres out from their line. Alex Mitchell. Greetings from Mexico, says Moses. Welcome in. You are doing well. And a good clearing kick from Alex Mitchell. Once again, we're just in the stalemate. Feels like the next 10 minutes is going to be a bit this way, and then the last final moments is just where it's really going to speed up. What language does Alex Ferguson speak? Hamish, I never understand a word, says Kevin. Is he English, Alex Ferguson? Looks like Finn Baxter's going to make his way onto the field, and Alice Genge will make his way off. And bystander 10.5 on the Richter scale of earthquakes. Do you link into an API for your live score on the screen to the side so it automatically updates? I have no idea what an API is. I just pretty much share the screen that has a different tab which has the scoreboard on it. So I don't know if that's yes or not. But now rushing through. 5 metres out. Couldn't quite link up there. Finn Russell just couldn't get his last pass away. But Gray, 5 metres out. Scotland, this is their big chance. Buckfast as a starter before the main course, says Kelmack. Now off to the side. Middle of the park, Pierre Schoolman. Hugh Jones tackled early, but England have been getting pretty much every breakdown turnover that they've tried to get, or at least a penalty for it. He's Scottish, says Simon. Now going off to the left-hand side. Kyle Rowe going to be held up. Pops the ball off to Ben White. And please, Scotland, give it to Fundamerva, says Aaron. And it's the effects of all the gum chewing, says Lilia B. Now going off to the right again. Tom Jordan, tackled well by the English. Still 10 all. Finn Russell, quick hands to Blair Kinghorn. England are just feeling it now. Maru Atoje over the top and now manages to get the steal in the breakdown yet again. Win or lose, I always feel like Scotland try. No one could accuse them of being lazy or lethargic, says Zero. Now kicked into touch, England. The moment it just feels more like survival than anything. Penalty try, says Kerr. Just the 5 metres out close, but no cigar. And then Maro Itoje just diving over the top. As the arms long enough. And actually almost ends up getting tipped up, which almost could have been a penalty against the Scottish. Our referee is a nightmare, says Powerbite. Right, Finn Russell just having a bit of a conversation there with the referee. I think he's just trying to determine what is and what isn't allowed. They've just said there that Maro Itoje was not supporting his own body weight because he was actually on top of the guy in the breakdown, but turnovers 1-5 for England at this point. Now line out throw. Scotland again with the ball knocked on by Scotland. And England now 40 metres out, told them Scots are not allowed to win, says Kevin. And we have there should be penalty. Scotland shocking. Now loose ball picked up by Henry Slade, who's actually played this whole game from 12. We've hardly seen him. Or at least I haven't. Now Marcus Smith playing as a first receiver gets it off now. Just continuing to go phase after phase. Ollie Chesham. This is within a kickable 3 if they do end up with some sort of advantage, which in the trend of this match will be likely. Now Will Stewart. Finn Smith goes across to Tommy Freeman. 2-man tackle on him, and the penalty goes the way of Scotland for England leaving their feet in the breakdown. You don't need magic mushrooms when you stay up for 2 days, says Cal Mack. How long till Scotland throw on Skinner and Gregor Brown, says Powerbite. I think Scotland wanted to take that one quickly. But yeah, just flopping in, sealing it off. English commentator so annoying, England getting better and better. And then they lose the ball, unlucky, says here. I do some Kiwis have a thick accent like people in rural areas? A little bit, like a Gore accent is relatively strong. You kind of roll your R's when you're from Gore. Referee just realised how biased he's being, says Powerbite. And Scotland the Brave hang in there, says Aaron. And draw would be first time I ever guessed correctly, says RIP, although there is still plenty of time, still 19 minutes left. This one by Ewan Ashman now. Looks like Alex Mitchell, he will make his way off, and that is for Harry Randall. Amish Superb never disappoints. Now Ashman goes in and nicely claimed by Grant Gilchrist. Sure, these forwards for Scotland have covered a huge amount of ground. Throughout this match, Finn Russell will once again send it to the sky. Marcus Smith coming forward for it. Kinghorn gets a hand to it, but it does bounce into touch. So hoping Scotland win this game, says Bruce. The biggest problem in rugby at the moment is the media. The law changes in the referees, and the referees are terrible, says Powerbite. Yeah, there's certainly still not consistency, which I know is what a lot of people have been wanting for a long time. The atmosphere is so dreary in that stadium, all-tight game. Seeing like once every half an hour joke. Says here. Yeah, it does seem like at the moment anyway, like the crowd know that it's not like it's not won yet, if that makes sense. Like these two sides have still got plenty more time left to go head to head. As a Canadian, watching our hockey boys win in overtime the other night was awesome. Wouldn't rugby overtime be awesome as well? In some competitions they do, like the rugby sevens, they do have the golden point. Same with Super Rugby. Six Nations, though, it is just a draw. But yeah, sometimes that golden point can be extremely entertaining. Finn Smith now, Elliot Daly going up the middle, finds his offload. attack and run from Ollie Chisholm, who's had to put in the shift. The favourites to win the Six Nations at the moment, the Irish, are still at the top. Typical English fans, they have been winning before they get behind their team. Says Power Bite, and Scotland takes the fun out of life. Says Mr. Marmite, and standard refereeing is abysmal. And penalty now goes the way of Scotland again. Time for Scotland's fresh legs. It's fun to move there. He is, but we haven't really seen a huge amount of him at times. But Jamie Ritchie, the man who pops up with that ball, not releasing. Ferguson speaks English with a Scottish accent and also coached Man United in the English Premier League. And we also got there, they should sell pictures of DuPont with jars of Nutella. And Scotland have never won the Six Nations? No, not since it became the Six Nations. I think they won it prior, didn't they? That one has not found touch from the Scottish. No Scotland, no party, says Cal Mack. And please, Scotland, score and someone start playing the bagpipes. Fun to move is only present 5% of the time. Waste of a jersey, says Kerr. And if it's a draw, it would be great, says Brian. It's like a bit of Vaseline going on the eyebrow of Ollie Chisholm here. England does not want it enough, says Reno. Oh, okay, time is off here. What are we going to learn? TMO, I assume, is about to be involved in this match again. Yep, right, TMO, this one. Foul play, maybe? What's the actual time average? Your clock seems static there, so at the moment it's 64 minutes through in this matchup. And here, Bagpipe says, John. Is that all we're looking at? He's a bit upright, Kyle Rowe. He's just ended up in the wrong place and Chisholm stepped into him. But something tells me here they're going to look to make this a yellow. It's almost an evasive action from Kyle Rowe, as if he was trying to get out of the way, but Chisholm just ran straight at him. Height's going to be the factor. I think this is going to be a yellow here, and this could be extremely costly for Scotland. Okay, it's just a penalty. The ref's French accent was getting thicker and thicker as he was finishing that statement. Feeling your pain, Hamish. I'm on night shift running. I'm bugger all sleep at the moment. Get on your mate, says Jaden. And the Scots will put their heads down. Yeah, coming down to the wire. I should mention as well, for anyone who is new, we have still got the sevens taking place in around 30 minutes' time. We're going to be covering 3 games back-to-back. And because he spends most of the time doing nothing, says Kerr. And don't ever compare Itoje to any Southern Hemisphere lock dude. It's not even close. 4th choice in any South African team, says Eugene. And these referees are corrupt. See Jobert and Brian Lawrence. And also never corner the Scots. That one's going to be kicked to touch now by England. They'll be about 10 metres out from the line. This is going to be the big chance here. Jamie Dobie, he will make his way on. Jamie George will have this line-out throw. Come on, England, says Reno. And Scotland could have pushed on from their earlier try, unfortunately, says Xander. And not even a penalty, give the refs Roof's lipstick. And though this ref is looking for every excuse to give England the advantage, says Brian. Now Jamie George throwing it in. Marua Toje takes it well, and it was one-handed, and that's going to be another advantage for Scotland joining the maul a little bit too early. Do you know which team's back-to-back? Says Bruce. Do you know which team's back-to-back? And what context are we talking? Is it like what their next games are, or? But now going off to the right-hand side. Finn Smith. Short ball to Elliot Daly. This is getting all too familiar. Like last week, or the week prior, in fact. Still an advantage. Not rolling away, going against Scotland. This could be a yellow card soon. Finn Smith with a short ball. Still 5 metres from the try line. Question is, will England go for the 7, or would they consider taking the 3 if they did go back for the penalty? Marua Toje. Good driving tackle on him. Moves back that little bit further. Elliot Daly trying to step through and a big driving tackle. It's dropped by England. I'll go back for the penalty. Sevens Hamish, says Bruce. So which team's back to back? As in like the matches that we are covering. We are going to be doing Fiji versus Spain, New Zealand versus Ireland, and then the next match after that is going to be the one between South Africa and Australia. I'm telling you, rugby is corrupt. These referees are bought and paid for, says Power Bite. I dated a Carter for 10 years. She poisoned me, says John. And Australia beat England. If Scotland win today, the Poms are a bad sporting weekend. That's a massive win for Australia, by the way, because England scored like 350, didn't they? The world is corrupt, says RIP. Now lining up this kick, it will be Marcus Smith. They will take the 3 here. Big call from the English. I said you were covering 3 games back-to-back. So, yeah, those 3 that I mentioned. Spain versus Fiji, New Zealand versus Ireland, and then Australia versus South Africa. And England ahead now. Can they stay ahead? It's the question from Reno. And Aussie is a good team, though, says Kiwi Rob. I mean, they are, don't get me wrong. But normally, like, in those sort of contexts, is with scoreboard pressure, having to chase that many runs just seemed like it was going to be an almighty task for the Aussies. Kick has gone over from Marcus Smith. As Randall passing or kicking more, quicker pace. I think he's done a little bit more kicking, a bit more passing, I should say, just sniping runs around the side of the breakdown. You answered the question. Now I know who's playing in the sevens. Here's Bruce. Now 13 minutes remaining in the score. Now sits 13 points to the English, 10 to Scotland. Those 2 earlier missed kicks from Finn Russell are starting to look a little bit less ideal. Hamish, listening to you at work in Doha in Qatar. Thanks as always for your services. Thank you very much for tuning in, John. Hopefully you are keeping well. It's going to be a bit of a last-minute thriller by the looks of it here between these 2 sides. And now, nicely taken by Elliot Daly. Where's the Scottish fire? There's a try in Scotland. They can do it. Now Jamie George runs to 40 metres out. Back to the right. Finn Smith kicks it downfield. Looking for some territory. Finn Russell is at the back to return fire of his own. Expected a high-scoring game. There's once again going to be another mark called. Can use up a few extra seconds. We'll look to put this into touch. I'm going to get going. But it was fun. See you all next time. Here's Jameson, and it was good to have you here. And yeah, we are back tomorrow for another match of the Six Nations. If that is something that you are following, come on, Wales, dig deep, says bystander Hamish. The one guy who predicted a draw, looking dangerously like a draw, says Power Bite. Yeah, the big question would be for Scotland. If they get the chance, do they kick 3 or do they go for the 7? South Africa beat New Zealand in the 7s. With our first try, I swear the New Zealand player was stripped before he could make the tackle. Very unfortunate, says Xander. I think I know the one you're talking about. But yeah, they might meet later on in the comp. That's going to be another penalty this time, going the way of the English. Part of me hopes for England win just to minimise chance of Townsend getting another contract. Ideally, Scotland won't win another match till he finally F's off. Are we through the 70th minute? Not quite. We're up to 69 minutes in this contest now. And come on, Scotland. Dig deep. Scotland won this competition last in 1999, and it was the 5 Nations back then, and also the year you were born, says Mono Lagrange. That is all correct information. Now deciding to line up the kick at the post here. Scrum is beating us here, says Cal Mack. And a called draw as well, says RIP. And oh dear, Scotland need to apply the pressure and get scoring soon. Time running out, says Bruce. Yeah, just the 10 minutes now remaining on the clock. Or it will be at least by the time this kick is taken. Finn Smith, he struck them pretty well today. He's also struck the ground a few times looking at him. He's got blue on one side, black on the other. And they are now showing his appearance. No pressure there. And carry me home, says Reno. Now the youngster. Chance here to line up this one again. The English will try and strangle a win now. They're hard to crack once they adopt that headspace. I like 15 Shire horses are blocking a style. And the kick from Finn Smith is straight down the middle. This game is very close. And Finn Smith's parents celebrating it big time as they now lead 16 points to 10. Finn Smith's parents are Scottish. Says power bite. Come on, Scott, get that 13-13. Although now they'll have to get 6 points. So I think Scotland now have to look for the try. Because if they go for just the 3, they can't guarantee they'll get another one. And brilliant kick, says Brian. Yes, save his houses straight out in front. Biggest Scotland mistake is allowing Townsend to select his friends to play for Scotland instead of the best performers. Says Kerr there too. Has the Highlanders been in the Blues an upset? Definitely. Uruguay or USA in the first 7's game of Saturday, says Kiwi Rob. It's an interesting encounter. Uruguay are a very much up and down team. They beat Fiji and New Zealand in one leg, but then they have also been beaten badly by Spain and others. And Scotland need the try for sure, Hamish, says Brian there. Now 9 minutes left. Clock continues to tick down, and Scotland have got the line out throw. Ewan Ashman going off to the left-hand side here. Finn Russell skip pass. It's a little bit similar to what they were doing in the first half. Kyle Rowe goes on the outside to Blair Kinghorn, who has to cut back inwards so that he isn't driven into the touch. Jamie Dobie passes it off to Jamie Butty. Oh, that was head on head from England, but I don't know whether or not they will search for that one on the TMO. And heads down Scotland, says John, and it's a drop ball. And now Elliot Daly will kick this one down the middle of the field out on the full. They will go right back to where it was kicked from. And we have got there, I already told you, roof spread it and apply all over. I'm not sure what that's in regards of. TMO will ignore the head contact, says power bite. Looks like there might be a bit of an injury here for your replacement. Anyone who has any rugby sense can see it. SRU is a joke. Same head, or heading the same way as Wales. Now 8 minutes left. Line out throw here for Scotland. Pretty much exactly where their last line out was, except this time they have to do it without the drop ball. And Hamish, have any rugby teams been charged for match fixing? Not that I know of for like international games and whatnot. But I'm sure somewhere in the world there probably has been. Scotland converted a try after 10 phases. Let's do it, Scotland, says Aaron. And ball is still there for the Scottish. That was close to a turnover though for the English. Looks like they have got the penalty advantage in their favour now, Scotland too. Off to Xander Fagerson. Quick pop pass from Jamie Dobie. Off to Fagerson, that time being Matt, and they'll go back for the original penalty. Now or never, Scotland, throw yourselves at him. Find a way, says Kurno Vic. And yeah, like this is one of those games that they have to get right. This could determine whether or not the Six Nations will be close this year or whether it's going to be a one-horse race for the Irish. Australia play South Africa in their next match in the ICC Champions Trophy. South Africa was pretty convincing in their match. Says Mona, yeah, a lot of those matches are going to be extremely entertaining. New Zealand, they're going to be in action up against Bangladesh, I believe, tomorrow night, I think it is. And come on, Scotland now or never, says here. Now thrown in by Scotland. Amaro Atoje gets the line out still. In the moments when it matters, he does often step up. Atoje, he won a penalty earlier on when Scotland were on hot attack. I'll tell you what, Roof. I spread Nutella on a slice and I'll eat it. And game of the last hour, says RIP, and I spoke too soon, says here, not enough players to support the Borders team. A better argument is to get rid of the shambles that is Edinburgh, put all resources to Glasgow. Brian Lawrence killed his international ref career over what can only have been match fixing. Now that's going to be charged down from the kick of England. Scotland with the ball in hand. 6 minutes left on the clock and not a lot of time to work. Jamie Barty with the pick and go. Oh, Itoje almost giving away the penalty in that breakdown. At this stage, he's almost trying to bait them into doing something on him so that England win the penalty, it would look like. Just getting into those breakdowns. Biennial asking for the penalty, does not receive it. If they do get it, though, I'm sure he will scream and shout and let it all out, as the song says. Now, Dobie passes back across and behind Finn Russell. Passes off to Blair King Horn, who slips. England have 3 men in there, but they don't get the ball. 75 minutes has passed on the clock now. 2 tries for Scotland, 1 for England throughout this hard-hitting fixture for the Kolkata Cup. Scotland have never gone 5 in a row versus England in this comp. And work, it says John Itoje, as always, and always will be a thug. And very little more, says Kerr. Now off to the left-hand side again. Short ball to Duan van der Merwe. First touch for him in about 15 to 20 minutes. Now back to the right-hand side. Itoje in off his feet. No penalty going his way. Now pass on the outside from Finn Russell. Biggest thing for Scotland here is to try not to isolate themselves. Russell goes back across to Jamie Barty. Itoje has been a rock in England rugby. Says Daryl Roberts. They're all celebrating the light coming on when he opens the fridge. But now McDowell. It's the offload away. Great defence at the moment from England, up to 14 phases in a row. Oh, that's... don't know if that was supporting the body weight from Biennial. I think the knee went down initially. Now passing, that's forward, and that's a bad one from Ewan Ashman. Tries the round the back pass. We have there. Sounds like Roof enjoys teamwork. And 4 minutes left, and that is now going to go out here. Chance for the English lineup. Ferguson says John, but yeah, Ewan Ashman just tries to flick pass around the back, and it looked like frustration there from Duan van der Merwe, pretty much saying, why have you done that? We actually did it yesterday, says PSG. They certainly did, but you said that they should. But I don't know if you fully believed it up until it actually happened. Who are the 4 teams in the semi-finals of the Champions Trophy? Says Mornay. I think it's going to, I don't want to jinx anyone, though, so I'm actually not going to give a prediction, because there are certain sides that I want to see do well, but I know that if I say them, they're going to end up jinxed. Right. TMO, is it? It's going to be an England penalty instead, as the TMO has spotted something. It wasn't that head-to-head earlier on a Scottish player, though. No, in fact, he's found a bit of foul play from Scotland. And Scotland have not many ideas in a close physical contest. They prefer the open game. And a Thunder Miracle. And yep, English pen sucket, says Mr. Marmite. So we're going to see it here. Yeah, Ewan Ashman. I mean, to be fair, he did shoulder Ben Curry off the ball. Those are the type of ones that don't seem to be getting checked for both sides here. Scotland will be ashamed if they lose to a team like this, says Stephen. And come on, Scotland, what's going on, says Miller. So now Scotland, they will have to try and get the ball back for the last 3 minutes of the game, where England will look to hang on to it. And no, when we got up 8, I knew it was our game, says PSG. And Curry ran into him, says Brian. Now kicking this one towards the touchline, it will be Henry Slade. Scotland the buggered. If they don't do something right now, says John, yeah, just not enough time left on the clock for anything more than one chance here. If it wasn't for Mum, I would have picked Scotland, win or lose. Will we beat Ireland 7? It's going to be a tough game. But yeah, I think it could be relatively competitive. I should mention in 15 minutes' time, we are doing the next match of the Sevens when you're streaming cricket next. It's a tricky one, because anytime we try and stream cricket, we normally get a copyright strike, which then takes us out of action of all streaming for at least 2 weeks. So that's the risky side of the cricket streaming. Like, I'd love to be able to, and we are still watching a lot of cricket. That's the penalty now to Scotland. England are not happy about it, but an English player was joining before Marua Toje. And there's a teaming ref says Blickies. Now going to be kicking this one towards the touchline. And quick take says John. So we see it there. Hayes and Finn Baxter both joining in front of Marua Toje. So pretty much that cuts off any chance of the opposition getting a rolling ball. Scotland took it quickly and the ref says... Okay, ref said that he wasn't ready and the Scotland players weren't in a nice line. And Beno celebrating the glove compartment light coming on, says Power Bite. And kick to touch and maul for your life. And player of the match contenders. I think there's been a few standouts. Finn Smith at the moment is looking extremely strong. Now Scotland with the possession on the halfway line. Duan van der Merwe tackled by Curry. Inside ball. Chance here for Stafford McDowell. Still running forward. 10 metres, in fact 5 metres now from the line. Chance here for the Scottish. Finn Russell going across. Duan van der Merwe scores the try in the 79th, but it is not an easy kick. And Finn Russell hasn't kicked anything over today. The England, they look like they can't quite believe it, but this game, it hasn't been summed up as of yet. And try for Duan, says bystander here. Didn't make it too much easier for Finn Russell either. And they will need the kick. And like I said, he's sitting 0 from 2 today for Finn Russell. Oh, hang on. Double blow of the whistle. This sounds like they're going to check something again here. Or are they? Or is that just them turning the time off? But a Stafford McDowell break. Very nicely done. Van der Merwe actually did something, walked into the gift. But something nonetheless. Right, Finn Russell to line up this kick. He hasn't got them over yet, and that one is missed as well. 3 misses for Finn Russell. 20 seconds remaining on the clock. And now Scotland still need another penalty to win this game. Sione Tuipilotu is sorely missed in the Scottish centre line. They did all the hard work. I'm not sure why he took it so wide, but I think that was also down to Duan van der Merwe with where he was able to score the try. And Russell was finished, says Brian. But now, this game not quite over. Someone give Russell a compass, says Daryl. Gregor Townsend looking like he doesn't really care. And you can't miss that, says here. Although, to be fair, hardest kick of the day for him. But, you know, he had to get at least one over earlier. Tom Jordan says power bite. Could have been the option. Now Scotland, they are inside of their own 22 and they have to go the full length of the field to be able to win this game. Stafford McDowell going across to Blair Kinghorn. He gets that a little bit closer. Stafford McDowell having a bit of a slip there. Hayes trying to get the counter-up going. Dobie goes across to Finn Russell. It is not done and dusted yet for this contest, but it is getting closer to it. Like they've said, all England have to do is force an error from the Scottish side. Pop pass, Finn Russell skipping out to Kinghorn, who tries to step through but does slip in the process. Chandler Cunning himself trying to turn it into a rolling maul, but he has to release. Oh. Deliberate knockdown, was it? No, it's just going to be a knock on. England might try and just kill this ball off now. Going back. The hands of Rory Darge. Back to the left-hand side. Ewan Ashman. New penalty advantage. I think they've actually called it as a deliberate knockdown in that case. And Kinghorn could have taken the kick. Yeah, there's a lot of guys who could have kicked rather than Russell, but normally you'd expect him to get at least one kick over for the day. Blair Kinghorn. They are still 35 metres out from their own line here, Scotland. And Finn's kicking was off. It happens to all kickers at some stage. There's Kuno Vec. And now it's going to be Tom Jordan. And the penalty now, they will go to Scotland. King or Jordan for this penalty, although this one is too far out. They are currently like maybe 35 metres from their own line. But there is still time, ladies and gentlemen. We are 81 minutes through this matchup. And it's going to be a high tackle penalty against the English. Scotland need to get this one into touch and then retain their line-out meters made. 769 for the Scottish compared to the 474 for England. It's been back and forth. And even a South African couldn't save Scotland. We'll see, says RIP. And if Scotland pull this off, game of the tournament, says Zero Connection. Come on, Scotland, says Max. There too. And now Ewan Ashman going to have this line-out throw. Goes over the top. Nicely claimed by Scotland, who get that rolling maul moving. It's a little bit risky, seeing as already we have seen England shut down multiple rolling mauls of the Scottish. They're being told to use it once here, Scotland. And they do so. Sitting 40 metres out. Finn Russell, rough pass there. Sits up for Kyle Rowe, though, who slips again. It seems like it's getting Julia and Julia. That's round his neck from Elliot Daly. He's got him in a guillotine, but they've called it as a maul. And that more than likely is going to be the end of the match now. But I think they might have wanted to check the height of that one. And England will win the game by 1. We have got their drop kick option. An awesome finish and very short kick by Russell. Was there time for the line out? There certainly was, as it was off the penalty. I think Finn Russell having a chat now. He's trying to say maybe you need to check that one, ref. But I think the summary of the game is I don't think a single thing for Scotland was checked in the TMO. Where's Scotland's penalty, says Sir Miller. And some of the decisions sound questionable, says John. And it's over hard like Scotland, says Brian in there as well. But England, they managed to get the job done. That keeps their Six Nations alive. Scotland will receive the bonus point, but now more than likely cannot go on to win this Six Nations competition. Duan van der Merwe gets player of the match. But definitely a close one between them. We have there was a bit biased towards the English. And why don't England, you scraped it, says John Campbell in there as well. Finn Russell is a Freemason. He is part of the corruption. Doesn't have a leg to stand on, says Power Bite. And great commentary game, says John. Thank you very much. But nonetheless, the next live stream that we are doing on the channel is actually starting in only 7 minutes' time. We are straight back into it for 3 more matches of the Sevens. Another hour or so of commentary. So if you're not sick of me by now, be sure to pop in for that next one as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.